All right, everybody, welcome back. This video is going to be a little bit different than the usual. This is going to be about a customer of mine all the way out in Colorado, heading to FL2K to compete in the streetcar class. He owns his own shop out in Colorado with a dyno, so obviously we've put it on the dyno before and it's made really good power. Since then, it's got a different combination. You already know the engine in a Fox body. It's a 408 cubic inch LS with Frankenstein heads and twin turbos with a second gear Leaf 400. Pretty stout combination with a lot of good parts inside the motor as well. The setup is all fresh. He just put it in there and he's still pretty much learning the ropes of the whole setup and the car in general. Before he left for the trip, I told him where I wanted the ride height, where I wanted the bars to be at, the shock settings, and the pinion angle. I also set him up with a whole new tune because he's used to running on pretty rough surfaces out there, so he's never been on anything this good like Bradenton. I also told him to make sure he gets a good video of each pass so I can see what it's doing, but he's also got drive shaft speed and all the shock sensors, converter pressure, all that stuff to help me with not being there with the car. So Thursday, test day, he makes his first pass and the arc panel shuts down the whole car mid-pass. It's happened before, but he can't seem to find the root cause of why it keeps happening, so I don't really know what to do in that situation. He ends up working on it and thinks he gets it good to go for Friday qualifying first round. So he makes his pass Friday evening and it hits a safety cut that I set up in his tune, which ended up being a voltage cut because the voltage dipped down a little bit too low. That pass was a 925 in the quarter. It went 139 in the 60 foot and 588 in the eighth at 107, letting off obviously. I think the safety hit around 3 seconds. Honestly, it's really not that bad considering his personal best in the car is a 580 flat in the eighth and a 917 in the quarter. So we're right there already with a quarter of the run. So he changes the alternator to a known good one to get ready for his next qualifying pass. So on this video, I'm going to go over all the logs and the tuning that I've done on it. I'm not going to go in too deep with it, but just show you guys what we did to get this car to do good at FL2K. You guys know I don't have the fancy screen recording, so this is what you get. So he left on about 6 pounds at 3,800, and that's because I thought he was going to try to leave in first. For some reason, he likes leaving in second, so it's guaranteed to get down when it's leaving in second. It's just not going to be that fast. So that's why the boost was so low. As you see, that's the voltage, and it just dropped sporadically through the run down to like 11.8 volts, which is no good. And that's the boost. It made 16 and then just dropped off the whole rest of the pass. So that's the first pass that we made. All right, so qualifying pass number 1, we got to get down. We got to get something on the board to be able to get into this race. So since he's choosing to leave in second gear, I raised up the launch RPM, the launch boost. I brought the boost in way sooner because you guys know the second gear leave just kills it, especially when you got a 323 rear gear like he does. So you really got to hit it hard to get it out the hole if you want it to leave good. So I just raised up the boost everywhere and see what we can do. If I'm looking down, that's because I'm looking at the iPad with all of our messages. With that pass, it goes a 136.60 foot, 558 at 129 in the eighth, 866 at 148, obviously letting off, but that's a new personal best for the car by a lot. And it ain't even close to being turned up. I mean, it's on baby boost right now. So I know he was happy about that, and it got him on the board for qualifying. So on this run, first round qualifying, he ended up leaving on about 10.5 pounds of boost at 4,200. And if you see right here, it makes the 2-3 shift really early. That's because we had it set to shift around 7,100, and the converter flash is so hard that it shifted early. Usually it doesn't shift until about out here, maybe 4 or 5 seconds in. So it shifted early, which probably killed the run. And right here, all the boost drops off. So it was making about 19, and then it dropped off. That's because of the intake temps. I have the safety turned on. When it goes over 200, it reverts the wastegate. So we added some threshold to that so that didn't happen again. But as you see, battery voltage is holding solid at 13.3, 13.4. So that problem is fixed. That's one less thing we got to worry about. But you can see the purple line. The intake temps are just skyrocketing, and that's pretty high for only 19, 20 pounds of boost. So just something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Here's the drive shaft speed. Starts getting a little bumpy out here. I don't know if that's just the resolution or the bumps in the track. I'll also throw up the shock data, because from the last run to this run, I told him, I'll just put up the front for now. The front, you know, it kind of dips down after it gets out a little bit, and I think that's because it fell on its face right here. The front seems to be good. It's only got about an inch or so of travel, which it's fine. At least it won't wheelie. I don't think it would anyway in second gear. The rear shocks, I did tell him to tighten them up a little bit from the last run. They hit up, and then they start extending a little bit more out here. Once we get in a little bit more on the runs, you'll see the data is a lot better. So something happened here where it was hitting some bumps or shaking the tire, I'm not sure. But you can see the rear end extends about an inch and a half or so right here immediately, and then starts extending more. It's working, so I said just leave it there for now. Actually, I think I told him to tighten them up after this run as well. 2 more clicks. And I think I told him to loosen up the front a little more as well. So let's go to the next pass. So we think that the high intake temps were from his brand new fiberglass front end. It has no opening in it. Literally no place for air to go in at all. So I think that's a big part of it. But since apparently the weather was kind of rainy out there, they only had 2 rounds of qualifying and then right into eliminations. So he ended up being in a pretty good spot in a bracket where the fastest car went 8:59. Usually that means they take off a tenth and the breakout is 8:49. I asked a couple times and he said he didn't know what the breakout was. So at that point, we're just kind of rolling with the punches, and the tune had way too much in it anyway, so he was going to have to lift. So I pretty much just told him, kill the light and barely beat the car, and you should be good. So I didn't really know that round 1 was going to happen this fast, so I just threw something together real quick. I kept the leave the same. I did clean up the tune while we were doing all this, because fresh motor and all, it really didn't get tuned. He was just running off of my last tune with the last motor. So I cleaned up a lot as we were making these passes. On this next pass, I turned up the leave RPM 100, and then for boost, I kept a similar boost ramp, but I added 2 more on the dome, so it went from 24 to 26. And with it shifting so early, I added some to the shift. So instead of it shifting at 71, I got it shifting at 75, which I think it'll take it no problem. I just don't want it to shift as soon as it flashes the converter and then kills all the power. So yeah, raised the total boost. raised the RPM on the leave to try to get it out of the hole a little bit better since we were leaving in second. Because a big part of getting a good light isn't just the reaction time of you letting off the brake, it's also how much power you got in the car. So if we're leaving on baby boost and only going 1/460 foots, it's never going to get a good light. So my goal was to make it leave hard, but then kind of tame it down as it got going, just so he could get that light that you need, because we're pretty much index racing at this point with an 849 breakout. So here is round number 1 for Josh. So he ends up getting that first round win. Super exciting. That first round, once that's down, everything else just seems to go a little bit smoother. The first round is tough, though. So he went against a Facebook buddy of mine with a Fairmont, 4-door Fairmont. Pretty nice car. But yeah, another personal best for the purple car. And he killed the light. It went 0.76 on the reaction time, 134/60 foot, 545 at 133 in the eighth, letting off to a 8.822 at 125. Fairmont red lit, didn't even get a time. That's how much he red lit. It was automatically in the bag. He didn't even have to let off. That's why I messaged him. I said, "Why are you letting off?" He said, "I'm a effing idiot and I can't think that fast." We got the first round win. That's all that matters. I really just wanted him to run it out to see what we were working with, because now I'm still kind of in the blind. Is it too much? Is it not enough? Because I don't want to put too little in it and then have somebody drive around him. I'd rather him play the game and barely beat the car next to him. It's hard when you don't know how fast the pass was going to go. I can kind of tell by the 8th mile, 545 at 133. Probably would have went at 840 at 164, 163, I would say. But yeah, we're just going to have to keep rolling with it. 840 isn't a bad spot to be when the breakout is 849. So you just keep on checking out the data and see what we can do. He was saying how great this run felt because it didn't lay over one time. It made the full pass, until he lifted or whatever. But he said this is the best the car's ever ran. You can see closed loop. It's pulling some fuel. But like I said, this whole race, I was adjusting fuel and getting everything else dialed in since we didn't have time to put it on the dyno with a whole new combination. So it left on 42, 43-ish at 10.5 pounds again. That seemed like a good spot. It flashes real hard to 6,700 almost. And then as you see, the last run it shifted right around here. So this run commanded the shift at 7,500. It ended up shifting at about 76. Drops down to 7,000. Ends up lifting around 5.9 and ends up coasting to an 8.8. So not a bad run. Everything was looking good. The only thing I kept looking at was the difference in the AFR right to left. Since it's a twin turbo car, it's got two O2s. See, you got to think, these two average with each other to meet this target. Well, if this is lean and that's rich, it's averaging right there. So that's another thing I was working on, doing individual or I guess bank-to-bank fuel corrections. At first, I was working on the wrong side, so I asked him, "Hey, I need you to start the car up and unplug one of them and tell me which one doesn't register." So I had them backwards in the car, but it is what it is. We got it figured out. And we got the fuel as close as possible once we got going in the rounds. So it ended up making about 18 pounds. Yeah, about 18 pounds or so since I turned it down. I turned it down from 26 to 24 on the dome just to be safe. Just a safe, conservative tune. 18 pounds at 16 degrees. So now it's time to go on to round 2. By the way, this is the only thing I changed from round 1 to round 2. I kept the same amount of boost. I just brought it in a little bit faster. And then obviously, like I said, the minor stuff, the fueling, little stuff just to clean this whole tune up.
And some voiceover work. I've even done IMDb or whatever on there and all that. Yeah, it's crazy. But I guess what you can take from that is if you want to do something, whether it be at a racetrack or whatever. Trans Am, and my loyalty starts getting real weak. They bump in, all in, and there they go. Mustang out. And Elijah Moran sounded like he got the loud pedal. Mustang going to leg it out. Goes 906, 900 with a 6 at 121 miles an hour.
So that's round 2. We got the win again. It ended up going a 137 60 foot, 549 at 132, which is about the same as last pass, honestly, because nothing really changed, with a 9.0 at 121, letting off, obviously. The car next to him went a 680 at 101 in the 8th, so no need to run it out. He messages me after that and says, I could possibly be racing Jimmy Dale's 50 Shades next round. So I'm like, oh, that's going to be a tough draw for sure. So let me definitely look into that tune and log to make sure we can come out on top. So closed loop is a little bit better than the last run. Pulls 7% when it flashes. Then 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, 0%, 1%, 0, 3, 4, 5. You know, it's just pulling a little bit, which, like I always say, it's better to be pulling than adding, in my opinion. So this run, it left on 9 PSI at about 4,200. It flashes, makes the shift out here at 75.47, goes down to 7,000 and runs it out. You lift it about 6 seconds in. Like I said, he was way out on the guy to coast to a 9.0. There's the shock data. The front is way smoother now. And then the rear still separates pretty fast, but it stays separating through the run. So that's a good thing. Drive shaft speed looks good. I also set him up with a little traction control advanced table, just in case for some reason it knocked the tires or it got a little bit too much wheeled speed down low. It will pull some power just to keep it safe. It's just something that I did since he had the drive shaft speed and we were in competition. As you see, I'm slowly getting them AFRs to match up a little bit better compared to what they were. They were like a whole point off. So they're getting a lot closer as I'm still working on it. Oh yeah, let's go on to round 3. So we found out we got to run 50 Shades of Brown, and this was the result of that. Nothing crazy, but did turn up the boost a little bit, just because I saw on 1320 that Barrett said that they were running their 8th mile car hard to the 8th and then lifting and playing the game. So I figured we might as well do the same thing. I add a little bit more boost because we were already running too fast as it is. So I didn't want to add too much as he's a new driver, and you know, I didn't want me to make him lose this race. So I just real subtle, just added a little bit more and play the game like they did. So let's see what happens in round 3 against 50 Shades.
Cheesecake. That's close enough, right?
All Mustangs in the semis in 2 of our street car shootout classes. That's interesting. 1320 video, Kyle isn't here, but he'd be proud. So we got one half of the true streetcar shootout final set. Here is our other one. Oh, okay, so it looks like we're actually going to skip a category. Good battle. I mean, now this is how they should be facing each other if the ladder played out correctly. Number 1 qualifier right side, number 4 qualifier left side. Barrett is making the most of this opportunity. Jimmy Dale don't get out of the seat very often. And we did see Michael Pollan in Bowling Green.
That was too cool.
Oh, they leave together. Barrett just a touch late, but nothing to talk about. Drag race to the stripe. And Barrett Green turns on the win light. One more again. Got the hiccups all of a sudden. Oh, and he broke out. 49 was a breakout. He goes 35. And Barrett gonna go back to the trailer and sell some of those big hats.
Well, we got the win. The time slip is crazy. It's funny to look at. I'll just show you guys. This is what Josh sent me. Oh, he's in the left lane. Big Hat Mafia in right. Got him on the tree, barely, but he killed that light with a 040. Had him at the 60 foot. Started losing him at the 330. 50 Shades came around him at the 8th with a little bit more mile per hour. Faster at the 1,000 foot. And then I guess since they left pretty close, he might have thought that he got him on the light, so he barely edged him out. He tried to dump it on him. But as you see, he broke out worse. So Josh got the win. I know it says win over here. The breakout was 849. So he broke out by what? 400ths, 300ths? Tight race right here. Really, really good race. And I know I made a post on Facebook and Instagram, and some people got in their feelings. It's nothing personal. We were just so happy to win that race. I mean, it's on to the finals after that. Why wouldn't you be happy? So it's nothing personal, nothing against anybody. I met Poland a couple weeks ago, so obviously I like him. And we were just happy. This is the first real race with the car. Me being remote tuning it, I mean, it was just a good moment for all of us, and we were happy about it. Nothing personal. So yeah, that's round 3, and now it's on to the finals. But first, let me show you the log from that pass. So we've been consistently leaving on like 10.5 pounds through the whole event at around 4,200. So I don't want to change any of that because it's working. It's getting up on boost in a second and a half. And it just stays right there at 10.5. So leaving on the same boost. As you see, closed loop looks a lot better. Still pulling a little bit out here, but cleaning it up slowly by slowly. So it spiked the boost to 20 pounds right there and then leveled off to around 18. He lifts at 7.8 and coasts to that 839, which is really fast for that car. Considering the boost it's on to lift and almost go 7s, that thing's going to go 4s and 7s real soon when we get to run it out. And you got to think, it's still only leaving in second gear, so it's only getting them 360 foots. And it could leave on a lot more. I just don't want it to knock the tire off and lose the round. Still working on the AFRs. They're getting closer and closer. You can see the intake temp started to rise a little bit. Really good pass right here, really good data. Full throttle the whole pass until 7.8. And broke out a little bit better than the next guy. So we're on to the finals with the purple rain, as they call it. This is the only changes I made tune-wise. All I did was back it down a little bit, since I know even letting off at 7.8, it still goes 830s. So we can't go faster than 849. Another thing I did was I added some threshold to the safeties. It was getting close to a couple safeties, and I did not want a safety to make us lose the finals. I turned off the traction control, just made sure everything was good to go to be able to take home the big check. So let's roll the footage.
Those mistakes when Jim Ron sent in the other lane.
Kudos to both drivers. As you look at the reaction times, they left within 6 thousandths of a second of each other. They were right there. So and here comes the next class. This is Streetcar Shootout True.
And we got Edman going to do it. Joshua Berger out of Loveland, Colorado. Left side of the track, the 89 Mustang. Number 4 qualifier. Number 2, Harry Charbonnier. Right lane out of Jennings, Louisiana. The 01 Camaro. 325 cubic inches of LS power under the hood. KE Piston. We're all in. Here we go. And the little Camaro gets out first by about 50. But here comes the Mustang driving around the top end. They're pedaling, they're whacking, they're jacking, and they got her done down there. Did they break out? 862. No, they're all good. And Joshua Berger taking that trophy and that big check back to Loveland, Colorado.
Well, there it is. We did it. Winner of FL2K, one of the streetcar classes. Got the big check, got the trophy, got 5K. We did it. And it was a good race. I think we just outperformed the car next to us. It was a Catfish Camaro, and he said he felt pretty confident going in it, and we did it. Got the time slip right here, 1:30.60 foot, which I believe is a personal best for the car and the weekend, almost in the 1.2s, which I know it's nothing crazy, but leaving in second gear with a 323 gear, that's pretty good. 358 to the 330, 543 at 133 to the 8th, and it went a 862 at 138 in the quarter to his 872 at 130 in the quarter. So he actually got treed pretty good on the light. That guy 60-footed him, and the 330s were about the same. That guy's 8th mile was about a 10th off, and he was behind us about 7 miles per hour. At the 1,000 foot, they were pretty even in time, and then he just got it. So he just didn't want to break out. I don't have the log to that, but obviously he lifted going 138. But all in all, a great time. It was great to be a part of it. I'm happy to see him win. He's a great customer. Like I said, I've been working with him for a couple months now. Anything I tell him, any suggestion, he listens, he understands. Like I said, he's kind of new to the platform he's with right now, so he's just trying to take in all the information. And by no means am I a genius or anything, but I have a little bit of experience with the Fox body stuff and the triangulated 4-link, so the way he had it set it up before, it just wasn't really ideal, and I think we got it now. I think we got it pretty dialed in. The shocks only changed one time, and that was for first round. Other than that, they stayed the same. Nothing else changed. I just can't wait to leave him first in this and really get after it. This thing should go 160 foot with ease. Like I told him before this event, I said that combo will go 4s easily and 7s. So hopefully that's coming up soon. He said he wants to get into some little gangster racing, which the tune that's in it now is spot on for that. Looking forward to working with him more and winning some more money, some more big checks. Congratulations to Josh and his whole team. They killed it all weekend. He did a great job driving. We did a good job this weekend. So it was real cool to get them pictures of him in the winner's circle with Cletus and the trophy and the big check. I can't wait for more days like that. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. Hopefully this video isn't too all over the place and boring, and maybe you guys take in some information of what I explained on the logs and the suspension stuff and all. If there's any questions, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.